Can anyone confirm my screen is visible or not?
Yes, Ravi. Screen is visible.
Fine. Okay. So whenever we are talking about like MuleSoft, okay. So yesterday we seen like what is the purpose of this MuleSoft technology. But whenever we are talking about MuleSoft, like what exactly we do in MuleSoft to make those system like communicate with each other. Like we have this multiple heterogeneous system, and with the help of MuleSoft, those heterogeneous system communicate with each other. So what exactly MuleSoft do and how we do that kind of discussion we'll do today. Okay. So if you remember yesterday diagram, so let me open that diagram again. So if you remember in yesterday diagram, we have this many heterogeneous system, and with the help of MuleSoft, they are communicating with each other. Okay. So as I mentioned, like what and how we do. So whenever we are talking about MuleSoft, okay. So first thing comes in mind, like how it will connect with this different heterogeneous system. Okay. So one system will be source system, and one system will be target system. Source system. Then here we will have MuleSoft, and here we will have target system. There might be multiple source system, there might be multiple target system. Okay. Just let me check. Anyone waiting in the lobby? Multiple source system, and there might be multiple target system, and MuleSoft will come in between. Okay. So first thing, MuleSoft, like when we have this MuleSoft, either we expose our MuleSoft application as a API, okay, that is REST API, or it can be event driven, okay, or it can be scheduler one. So there are multiple way. First one as a API, event driven application, and third one it can be scheduler based application. So why I'm saying like there are three way. So in first case API. So in API, what we do exactly, we develop one application and we expose our application as a API. It can be either REST API or it can be SOAP API. So in current market, we have two kind of API. One is REST API, another one is SOAP API. So what all difference we have in between REST and SOAP API, that discussion we will do later. And that is very important question during your interview. What is REST API and what is SOAP API? But that discussion we will do later on. First, you need to have some idea what is API, okay? And then we will do discussion difference and all. Then second possible way we can develop event-driven application. In case of API, someone will be there who will call that API. Okay. But in case of event-driven application, what will happen when there will be any change in source system? Okay. Coming to this diagram, in case of API, what will happen? This source system will call this mule application, and then mule will call this target system. This will happen in case of REST API. But in case of event-driven, so whenever there will be any change in the source system, automatically this application will be triggered. Okay. So if there is any change in the source system, this application will be triggered and then it will call the target system. Case of scheduler-based API. In case of scheduler-based API, what will happen? Schedule. Okay, schedule can be every 5 minutes. It can be every day at 2 a.m. It can be every day at 2 a.m. and 3 p.m. You can define any schedule. Okay, so there are multiple ways to defining schedule that we will discuss later on. So whenever there will be schedule, this MuleSoft application will auto triggered, and then it will do required orchestration and it will call the target system. Okay, so whenever we are talking about MuleSoft, we can develop application in different way. First one as a REST API. In case of REST API, if we are developing any REST API, so someone will be there, okay, as a source system. They will call our application, okay, as a REST API, and then we will call the target system. Okay, so whenever we talk about this mobile application and web application, okay, so what happened there? There is front-end system, that is mobile application or web application. What they do in whenever we are clicking on any functionality, they are calling our API. If that is backend is developed in MuleSoft, then what they will do, they will call MuleSoft API. And what MuleSoft will do, it will call the required target system. Okay. In case of event-driven system, so whenever there will be change in the source system, let's say we have source system as a database. Okay. If there is any new entry in database, if there is any new record in database, or if there is any update in any existing record of database, what will happen? Mule application will be triggered automatically. And it will, that Mule application will get the updated record or new record, and then it will do required orchestration and it will call the target system. Okay. And then in case of scheduler API, so whenever a particular schedule will come, let's say schedule, as I mentioned, it can be every 5 minutes, it can be once in a day, twice in a day. Whenever that schedule will come, then Mule application will auto trigger, and whatever we will do, like whatever logic we will define here, or whatever orchestration we will do, it will complete that orchestration and it will call the target system. So there are multiple ways by which we can create Mule application. In 80% cases, we will do this one. You will develop REST API. In 15% cases, you will develop event-driven API. And in 5% cases, you will develop scheduler-based API. Okay. REST API is very popular. Means most of the places you will deal with REST API. So whenever requirement will come, there will be requirement develop this REST API, which will perform this. Okay. Everyone clear with this three approach? There are few more approach are there in like in market, but these three are popular approach. So at this moment, I am taking these three. Okay. So let me go here again. So first approach, we will develop API. API can be REST API or it can be SOAP API. So what is difference between REST and SOAP API? That discussion I will do later on. At this moment, it will be very early. So means for you, it will be difficult, but later on, once we will complete 10 days, then you will get some understanding of REST API. And then slowly you will able to understand this difference between REST and SOAP API. So at this moment, let's assume we have only one API, that is API. REST and SOAP, we will discuss later. Second one, event-driven application. Event-driven
Uh,
application means,
Hi Ravi.
yeah,
Actually, I want to know we need to develop REST API or the work of backend developer.
REST API, okay.
Need
So
to develop.
MuleSoft,
Yes.
okay. So MuleSoft, nowadays, MuleSoft is widely used as a backend technology.
Okay.
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 API is not only developed by Java and .NET. In MuleSoft, we do 80% time API development. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So is
Okay.
widely used backend technology nowadays.
Okay.
Okay. And even I have worked for few projects where we replaced Node.js by MuleSoft.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Hey
So
Ravi,
second one, as I
hey Ravi,
sorry,
I just have a question.
yeah,
So what exactly API is? Like, we see the classification REST in SOAP API, but
yeah,
exactly uh besides it's an application um by itself, but what's exactly API is? Thank you.
yeah, yeah. At this moment, I am not going in detail. Okay, just first understand what all possible way we have, and then we will discuss each possible way in detail. Okay, so I will take just after this explanation, I will take API, and coming 4 5 days, we will keep continuing on API only. Okay, I will explain just after this difference, what all possible way we have, then we are going to have in-depth knowledge of API. So event-driven system, I told, like event-driven application we develop. So in event-driven application, what happen whenever there will be change in system, okay, automatically our Mule application will be triggered, and then we will required processing with that data. Okay, now whenever there will be any like change will come, so what change can be possible? Let's say we have source system as a database. Whenever there will be new record in database, whenever there will be any update in record in database, then our Mule application will be triggered and will do required processing. And last we have, so let's say, and last we have scheduler based application. So in scheduler based application, what will happen? There will be some schedule. Okay, that schedule can be in two ways. One is fixed frequency, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. Okay, that will be fixed frequency. Another schedule will be there. Another schedule will be there 2 a.m. every day, or 2 a.m. and 3 p.m. every day, or 2 a.m. every Monday. Okay, so in this way, there will be schedule on daily basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, whatever we can have. Okay, based on some schedule. So this kind of application also developed with the help of MuleSoft. Okay. So now let's have a detailed discussion of API. Now, first we will understand this API. Most of the time we develop API only. So first we will go in detail of this API. Coming 5 10, like maybe 10 days, we will continue on this API. And then slowly we will go on event-driven application and scheduler-based application. Now coming to API, what is API? Okay. So API will provide you one interface. With the help of that interface, you will able to exchange data between multiple heterogeneous system. Okay. So here you can see in this diagram only. Here we have MuleSoft as a interface. This is a interface which help multiple heterogeneous system. Okay. Well, heterogeneous system. Heterogeneous system can be like two or multiple. Okay. At this moment, you can see we have one target system. There might be possibility we will have two target system. There might be three target system. There might be possibility there will be two or multiple source system. Sometimes it do orchestration also. What do you mean by orchestration? So let's say we have source system which will call this application. Once it will call the application, then MuleSoft, what MuleSoft will do? It will call some other system. It will get the data from some more other systems, and then it will do required processing. Let's say from here, from source system, we are getting any customer ID. From this source system, we got customer ID. Then what we did inside MuleSoft, we called one external system to get order detail using this same customer ID. From here, I got customer. So like there is some source system which will call our MuleSoft API, this interface, and it like source system will pass this customer ID to MuleSoft. Now what MuleSoft will do, using this customer ID, it will call one target system to get the order detail, and it will call another target system to get the instead of target system, you can say external system. So here there is one source system which will call our MuleSoft API. And what MuleSoft API will do, it will call some external system to get more data. It will do required transformation on those data, and then it will call the target system. So this part, when we are calling multiple other external system to get the meaningful data and to process to target system, this part is known as orchestration. Okay, what we do in orchestration, like in real life also, we are combining some music to make a meaningful music. Okay, in orchestra, what we do, we have different instrument. We play different instrument to make a meaningful music. Okay, same thing we do in MuleSoft also. We do orchestration. We have different system. We call different system to get some meaningful data. We do require transformation there, and we call the target system. Okay, so what orchestration we are doing here? So first thing, we are getting customer ID. Okay, so first thing, got customer ID. Using that customer ID, we call the order detail. We are getting order detail. So here we have order ID, then price, item, quantity. We got this many detail, and then we are calling customer detail. So we are getting customer name, age, address. Okay, and then let's say we are getting. So what we are doing, first we are passing this customer ID to our Mule API. Then Mule will external system to get the order detail, and it will call external system to get customer detail. Now we have, after this orchestration, we have customer detail with order detail. Okay, we have customer with customer detail and order detail, and then we are passing this data to some target system. So after orchestration, we are calling this target system. So what exactly this API do here? It provide us one interface by which we communicate in between heterogeneous system. Okay, that's why API is known as application programming interface. Okay. So this provide one interface to communicate between different application, or you can say external systems. Everyone clear with this? Anyone has any doubt till this point? So all these things are theoretical thing, but when we will do actual implementation, definitely you will get in-depth understanding. At this moment, it's kind of theoretical, but yeah, it's like necessary to understand this theoretical part also. So once I will start implementing this, then you will get then you will get okay. This we were discussing at that time. So today we'll try to develop one simple API also, but theoretically you are getting some idea. If you are getting, then it's well and good. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, this will help us to communicate between different heterogeneous systems. Now, so far we are seeing this everything we have outside. Now, what happened inside this Mule application? Okay, that part we will see. So what happened inside this MuleSoft? First thing, someone will call our API. So what we need to do, we need to expose our API as a REST API. So here we should have source system, source. And what this source will do, it will expose our application as REST API. REST or SOAP, anything. Let's focus on simple API. So whenever we are developing this MuleSoft application, first thing we need to provide source system. Okay, and with the help of this source system, what we are doing, we are exposing our application as a REST API. Okay, once you will provide this, what we are doing here, we are providing some address to our application. Okay, someone, let's say this system want to call this Mule application. Okay, on internet, how they will call our application. So we need to provide them some address. So if they want to call, if this source system want to call this MuleSoft, so they have to come to our address. Okay, so here we are exposing our API as a REST API, means we are providing some address. So what will be our address? So when we are talking about this address, that means we are providing URL. Okay. If you want to see real life example of URL, say we are calling Google Map only. Okay. So here what we are doing, we are calling google.com.maps class map. So this is nothing but this is the address of that website. Okay, there also we are calling API only. This is the Google API. This is the address of Google API. Okay, so how when we will call this address, then it call the Google API. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are calling this Google API with the help of this address. So same way, whenever we want to expose our API, our MuleSoft application as a API, we need to provide some address. Okay, so this address part in detail, once we will develop one API, I will show you how to generate this address. So we need to define the address. Whenever we will define, whenever we will develop our API, so we need to tell them, okay, this will be our address. So what happened if someone want to call this Google API, Google Map API, so they need to call this address. Okay, you can remove this one. So they need to call this address. So what exactly we are doing here? We are calling Google API and Google API is returning this result. And based on the result, front end is displaying this. Okay, so that API will return some data. Based on the data, front end will take all those data and front end will create this kind of interface. Okay, so same way here, the source system will call our mule application. And once we will do all the orchestration, we will send response back. They will get the meaningful response and they will do some, they will display something. So source part is done. Now here we want to do orchestration. So we are calling two external system. So this can be sequential call also, this two external system, or we can do parallel call also. Sequential call means first we will call this external system, then we will call this external system. Okay, so one way is possible. We will do first, we will call this external system, then we will call this external system. That will be sequential call. And parallel call means we will call these two systems together at same time. Okay, now there are many limitations and restrictions are there to do parallel call. Okay, so we need to understand, are we eligible to do parallel call or not? Okay. That discussion again we will do later on. At this moment, it will be very early to discuss those parallel call. So let's do sequential call only. So what we are doing here, call external system A, call external system B, and then here we are doing this external system A, external system B, and then what we will do, we will do transformation. So now we have, like, from source system, we got customer ID. Using that customer ID, I called external system to get the order detail. I again call the external system to get the customer detail. Now we have all this detail. Okay. So target system, whatever target system we have, the target system need So from different source system, this is from source system, this is from external system A, this is from external system B. But in target system, we want customer ID, name, order ID, price. Target system need only this much data. Okay. It's not mandatory. Target system need all the data. It might be target system need few set of data. It may need external data like some more data. It depends. What target system need. Based on that, we need to do transformation. So here, what is our transformation? So this customer ID will be mapped with this customer ID. Okay, this will be mapped together. Then order ID will be mapped with this name. You can see here we have first name and last name. But this target system need only name. So what we need to do, we need to combine this first name and last name, and we need to pass inside name. Then price, we will get price from here. Address, we will get address from here. So to convert this request into this response, what we need to do, we need to do transformation. Okay, so here what we need to do, we need to do transformation. Everyone clear with this? This is our source. This is our target. Here, what we are doing transformation. So before passing to target system, we might need to do transformation. Sometimes source and target will have same set of data. We don't need to do transformation, but 99% cases, we need to do some transformation. That case, first we will do transformation. So that only we are doing here. We are doing transformation here. And then at the end, we will call the target system. This is our target system. So once we will have this data, after orchestration, we will get this data. So we have data for target system. We will call the target system and we will pass the data. Okay. So this is the way we do development in Mule API. Okay. If you want to correlate this with real world example, then let's discuss about one restaurant. Okay. In restaurant, what happened? So you have people to serve food. Okay. So let's say there is one person who used to serve food. So what happened? This is the that person who served food. So whenever you will go there as a customer, you will call the waiter. You will pass your all request. Okay, I want. Okay, you will pass all your request. Then what waiter will do? It will go to water room. From there, it will take the water. It will go to some other place where they will give that order. Okay, I that particular customer need this item. Then what they will do? They will serve that, they will prepare that food and they will pass that food to that waiter only. Yeah, waiter, and then he will serve that food to customer. Okay, so there might be possibility that that order is done for you and that order is done for someone else. Okay. If that order is done for you, then after this, once food will be prepared, that food will go to you, like they will serve that food to you. Or maybe you are making order for someone, then in that case, food will be served to that particular person. Okay, in real world example, waiter what exactly do? He don't prepare the food. Okay, what he do? He work as a intermediate. He will take request from you. He will go to kitchen room. He will put all the request made by the customer. He will pass the request to chef, whoever do cooking there. Then what chef will do? He will prepare all the foods, and then he will again call the waiter. Okay, this food is ready. Now again, what waiter will do? He will take that food and he will serve to customer. Same way MuleSoft do. MuleSoft don't have anything. Okay, he just know how to communicate with customer and how to communicate with kitchen chef. Okay, so he take the request from the customer. He go to kitchen. He pass all his request to like chefs, means whatever food, like who are preparing the food. Once food will be ready, they will give food to again waiter, and then he will serve to customer. Same way MuleSoft API do. Okay, MuleSoft don't has any data. Whenever request will come, MuleSoft know means who will fulfill that request. So it will go to that particular system. It will take that response and then it will serve to customer. Okay, so here also you can see from here we got one request, customer ID, and then there is one target system. The target system, let's say the target system is database. So what here, what instruction MuleSoft got here? This is the customer ID. I want to get customer detail and order detail and pass this detail to database. So what it will do, it will call the external system from where it will go, it will get order detail. It will call the external system from where it will get the customer detail. Then once it will get all the detail, it will do required transformation, means it will convert that like data in the target system format. Okay. Once it will convert into target system format, it will call the target system and then data will go to target system. Okay. So in this way, MuleSoft will work as an interface which help to exchange data between multiple heterogeneous systems. Everyone clear till this part? All this thing I means initial 2-3 day discussion will be most of the theoretical part only. But slowly, once we will start developing API, you will start getting, then you will able to correlate things also. But at this moment, at least theoretically, you should get something. So hope everyone clear till this point. If anyone has any doubt, you can ask.
Ravi, can we say this is a ETL kind of thing?
MuleSoft can do ATL kind of thing also, but that is not only thing MuleSoft do.
Okay.
ETL, what we do, we extract the data and we load the data. Okay, but MuleSoft do that task, but not only, this is not only the task which MuleSoft will do. A part of that, MuleSoft do lots of things. MuleSoft will be used as a backend system, event-driven system, scheduler API also. ATL will be one task.
Maybe here the last explanation I don't understand. What is the event driven?
Event-driven.
Yes.
Okay. At this moment, we are discussing about REST API. Okay, this is not related to event-driven. So are you trying to correlate this one to event-driven, or you want to understand event-driven?
No. The last explanation I don't understand from that, and that's why.
Okay, this one, last explanation, what I explained here.
No, from three. The first one is API. The second one is even.
Yeah.
The third one is
Scheduler.
scheduler. Yeah. The
So which,
even I don't understand. Can you give me
okay.
some example?
Yeah, event driven. Okay, let me first try to take some real time example for event driven. Okay, let's say uh, so let's say you have some, like you have home. Okay, so in home, what we do daily basis, we live there, correct? We daily basis we need to clean that place, and we people used to live there. Okay, that is your regular API. But let's say you have some common place where you organize some function. Okay, when there will be occasion, then only we clean that place, and decorate that place, correct? So whenever there will be event, then only you do required thing there. But in your home, what you do? You do cleaning every day, you live there every day. But if there is a one place where you organize to event, where you do organization of event, so when you will clean that place, whenever there will be event, when you will decorate that place, whenever there will be event. Same happen in event driven API. Okay, whenever there will be some occasion in source system. What can be occasion? There is any data change. Okay, if there will be new data, if there will be any change in the data. Okay, let's say we have one database. Database we store like thousands of records. Okay, what will be event driven here? If their new record will be inserted in database. If let's say we have 1,000 record, and this 1,000 record is next 15 day, there is no change in 1,000 record, this mule application will not be triggered. But next day, if there are new records, let's say new 5 records are there, then automatically this mule API will be triggered. Whenever there will be new record in the source system, or whenever there will be any change in the source system, automatically this MuleSoft will be triggered. Okay. If there is no change in source system, this application will not be triggered. But in case of REST API, we are exposing one endpoint. Okay, whenever we are exposing our API, so there will be one endpoint. So this one you can see. Just now I explained. This is the endpoint. Whoever want to call, whoever want to call this API, they will just call this endpoint, and they will get the response. But in case of event driven, like we are not exposing any endpoint. We are connecting with the source system, and if there will be any change in the source system, automatically this API will be triggered. But in case of REST API, we will provide one endpoint. Anyone want to response from that API, they will call our API, they will get the response. Is it clear now? Your voice is not clear.
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, yeah. I'm understanding the API is kind of consistency. It has consistency workers, but in the even it's happen only occasionally. Does not
Yeah, correct,
every
correct.
time. Scheduler is like we have set time every day or every hours we have to set time, and then we have to access our
Yeah,
file. Yeah, yes.
that will be scheduler based. Yeah, correct. Okay, any other question on this part? So in case of REST API, as I mentioned, like it provide one interface which help different heterogeneous system to communicate with each other. That's why we call this application programming interface. Okay, so here you can see this 4 system want to communicate data between like this 4 system want to communicate data among themselves. Okay, they want to exchange some data, but they can't communicate directly. So here we developed one MuleSoft API which is helping those 4 systems to communicate data, to exchange data. So first, this MuleSoft will expose their API as a means first MuleSoft will expose their API. So this source system will call that API, then request will come to MuleSoft. Now once it will receive the request, like it has to do some orchestration since from source system it's not getting all the data what target system need. So what it will do some orchestration. In orchestration in real life, what does it means? In orchestra we have different instrument, we play that instrument to make a meaningful music. So same way what MuleSoft will do, it will call different system to get the data and to then it will make one meaningful data and it will pass to target system. Okay, so that's why this process is known as orchestration also. So REST API will provide one interface which help to communicate between different heterogeneous system. Now, in term of in API, what exactly we do? We will have one source system. We will call different external system. We will do required transformation, and then we will pass that data to target system. So whenever this will happen, it will create one so whenever your Mule API will be triggered, someone will call your Mule API, it will create one Mule event. Okay. Don't need to create, automatically Mule application will create this Mule event. So whenever someone will call this Mule API, automatically Mule event will be created. Okay. I can't merge here. Inside Mule event, we have three components. First one is attributes. Second one is payload. Okay. Before that also, sorry. In Mule event, we have two major components. One is we have message and we have variable. This is the major component. Now again, this message is divided into two parts. Okay, this message is divided into two parts. One is attribute, other one is payload. Again, this attribute is divided into three parts. One is header, then query parameter, and then URI parameter. So whenever we create any mule application, okay, whenever request will come, automatically this mule event will be created, where mule event has two parts, message and variable. This message has again two parts. Inside message, we have attribute and payload. And inside attribute, we have three components, header, query parameter, and URI parameter. Okay. What is the purpose of all these mule event component that we will discuss in tomorrow's session? But today, just try to understand the structure of mule event. It will have message, variable, message will contain attribute, payload, attribute will contain header, query parameter, and URI parameter. This is the structure. And whatever components are there, okay, from one component to other component, this mule event will be keep rotating. Here we have this mule event, same mule event. Here we have this mule event. After processing this component, this mule event will pass to this. After processing of this component, mule event will pass here. After processing, this will pass here. And after processing, this will pass here. So this mule event will keep rotating from one component to other component. And all this data inside this component will keep changing based on the processing. Okay, that I will show you once we will develop our first REST API tomorrow. Then I will show you how this mule event will be created and how this mule event data will be keep rotating from one place to another place.
Ravi, can you give us one simple example of the message which follows this structure like attribute and header? Just one
Yeah.
simple message that can include all of this structure.
So as I mentioned, today we are going theoretically. So tomorrow I will develop one API. Okay. So in that API, I will show you everything. Just miss for today. See, if we will include everything in same day, then it will be again difficult. Just try to understand everything theoretically today. Tomorrow we will go everything practically, and then again I will come back here and I will show you. At this moment, you are getting this structure on. Okay, if I will go directly in practical part, then many things will be there you will not able to understand. So first I'm trying to understand, making you understand in theoretically, then I will show you everything and then I will correlate thing again. Then you will get a clear picture. Okay. Now, if you want to access this variable, then syntax will be where's dot variable. Syntax will be where's dot variable name. If you want to access this payload, then syntax will be either message dot payload. This is the one syntax, or another syntax is simple payload. Either you can write message dot payload to access this payload, or you can simply write payload. Coming to this header, if you want to access this header, okay, so here what happened? whenever you will call you, someone will call your mule API, mule event will be created. And if you want to access this payload, syntax will be message.payload or simple payload. Then whatever data will be inside payload, you will able to access. Same way, if you want to access header, syntax will be message dot headers dot message dot attributes dot headers dot header name. We can give any name. So this will be syntax to access header. If you want to access the query parameter, then syntax will be message dot attributes dot query params dot query parameter name. Query parameter name. Same for URI parameter. Message dot attributes dot URI params dot URI params. Here, wherever you can see this message in header, query parameter, URI parameter, and in payload. This message is optional. If you want, you can put this message, or if you want, you can start from attributes. Here also, if you want, you can type this message.payload, or you can simply type payload. In URI parameter also, you can start from attributes.URI parameter name. So whatever message you can see here, these all are optional. This is not mandatory. Anyone has any doubt on this part? So to access this mule event content, we need to write syntax like this. And for today, we will end our session here only. But in tomorrow's session, we will develop one API and whatever discussion we did here. So tomorrow we will see everything through one API. Okay. So what I will suggest today, go through this recording again. Okay. See all this discussion again. And then tomorrow, once I will develop one first REST API, then you will try to coordinate all these things. I will again recap, like I will help you to coordinate, and then you will have proper understanding how and what, like how this mule event will get created and what all this component means. So we will go through one API, simple API, and we will see all these things. Okay, if anyone has any doubt, let me know. Otherwise, we are good to end our session for today.
Ravi, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
We can use MuleSoft for only transformation or anything.
Sorry. MuleSoft will be used only for
Transformation, data transformation.
Oh, as I mentioned, like MuleSoft will help different heterogeneous system to exchange data. Okay. And it do orchestration also. Orchestration means calling different external system do require transformation and pass the data to make a meaningful function and pass the data to external system. So it do orchestration also and it do data transformation also. In MuleSoft, we can apply business logic also. Business logic means, let's say you are getting some request and then you are doing business logic there. Okay, if this is the request, then do this. If this is the request, then do this. Based on the business requirement, you will do you will apply different logic.
Okay, Ravi, thank you.
Okay, fine then. So for today, I think we are good. Let's continue tomorrow. And tomorrow I will show you one working example. Then it will be more clear. Initial 1-2 day, it will be more theoretical, but after that we will go in practical way. Then definitely you will able to coordinate correlate all the things. Okay, fine then. Thanks everyone. Let's connect tomorrow on same like 6 p.m.
Take care. Have a good
Thank
day.
you, Ravi.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you,
Ravi.
Ravi.